Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Fake Nerds Watch for Star Trek Picard, Season 3. I am Brandon C. McClure of the Fake Nerd Podcast. As you know, with me on this trek, as always, is Cookie from Just a Little Podcast. How are you, sir?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Star Trek is a beautiful thing right now. It's a beautiful thing, so I'm happy.
Star Trek is a beautiful thing, isn't it? We're going to be talking about today, full spoilers, for Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 8, Surrender.
Yes.
This is directed by Deborah Campmere. I tried. She was the director for the last week's episode, and written by Matt Okamura.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. Cookie, what'd you think about this one?
Great episode. Answer some questions that we've been longing for, but then they hit us with a little 1-2 type of combination, and it's like, we want to answer questions, but we want to still add more questions into it. And I'm getting nervous. I am now at the point where nerves are setting in, because it's like, okay, great, I'm getting these answers. I'm liking it. I'm liking what you guys are doing with the story. The plot is there. Everything's wonderful. And you guys are going to start wrapping it up because we don't have much to go.
Yeah. And now, in fairness, they do have 2 hours.
They do. They have very much 2 hours. However, in Star Trek fashion, 2 hours is going to fly by super fast.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have at this point no doubt that this show will deliver a emotional finale that will really hit me.
Yes, you and me both.
I am a little concerned that this show will not deliver a satisfactory finale on any other level.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, like we've talked about, it's definitely going to be a very, very much like a farewell Next Generation type of concept, which I'm all for. I'm happy for. And that's it. I think that's what we're really going to get, is that.
Yeah. And there's a lot I like in this episode. And there's a lot that I like in this episode. But my biggest issue, and let's just get it right out of the way, it ends in the exact same spot the last episode ended in.
Yes.
With Vadic's like, okay, time to find out who you really are, Jack. Then we go through this whole episode, and it's like, okay, time to open the red door, Jack. Come on.
Yes, very much so. That was definitely a big gripe for me. And then Data was a little bit of a gripe for me.
Interesting. I would love to get into this. Tell me more.
Okay. I love the fact that we're getting this human aspect. We're getting what the Dr. Sungs collectively wanted out of their children. And it's beautiful. But then it's like, okay, you guys brought this in episode 8. Why couldn't you guys bring this in episode 5, where it's like we would have time to enjoy and explore Data as a person, not just as an android? We're gonna. It's sad to say, but I'm foreseeing the future. We're gonna lose Data. They've hinted at it multiple times where death is a big part of Data, and he's like, at the end, spoilers, he's like, I don't really kind of want to die now. Now that I'm me, I'm enjoying what it means to be truly alive. And we've had every single character talk about his death. It's just a matter of time before he does the ultimate sacrifice, to sacrifice himself for the good of mankind.
I don't think so. I don't think they'd kill him a third time.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think they're smart. I think they're smarter than that, personally, because he did the sacrifice play in Nemesis, right?
Yes. But then it's like, okay, where's he going to go after this?
With Geordi's, the Fleet Museum.
He's going to be so bored.
He won't. He'll be with Geordi.
He will be Geordi, yes, but he would be bored out of his mind because the computations would be so minuscule to him that it won't matter. The adventure that he's been on, and now that he's human, he gets to actually experience life. You're going to be stuck in a museum? Like, if you want to experience life, travel.
Okay, well, how about this? He could become a captain now in Starfleet, right? He's more human than he ever was. He could.
Very true.
Last time we saw him, he was a lieutenant commander. Starfleet could just give him an honorary captainship, and he could become a captain in the fleet again.
That's a good point. Good pull. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to kill Data. The question of what happens after is a big question for Star Trek fans right now, because we don't know that there will be another story after this. We know
Correct.
that this is the last for the Next Generation crew, but what's next? What's the next Star Trek story? It can't be Discovery. That's still 500 years in the future.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying, and it is still a bummer that we're just kind of looking at this as like, okay, well, there's 2 more episodes left with these characters, and they have finally come together.
Yeah.
I will agree with you that it's unfortunate that we had Data this late in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of thinking about this a lot. I kind of wonder if maybe I would have preferred Lore had been the main Brent Spiner in the show, in the season, and like it's not necessarily Lore trying to. So it's like I had an idea when the trailers are coming out that I'm kind of trying to divorce myself from, which
Mm-hmm.
is that Lore would team up with the Next Generation crew,
Okay.
and he would kind of go on an arc of a kind of a redemptive arc in the season. I kind of really like that idea. But I do actually really like what they did with Data in this episode.
I do. I really do. I just wish it was earlier that this happened.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about like Troy. Like we've gotten these characters now so late. We only get 2 more hours with them. And one of the benefits is that, we've spent so much time with the other characters that now we can focus on Data and Troy. We can have them have good character moments. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Let's talk about Data though. Let's talk about the Data in the room. Kind of his like they have this plan to retake the ship, and they're like, okay, well, let's use Data.
Yeah.
So let's lower the partition and let's hope to God something good comes out of it.
Yes.
Is really what they were doing, because Geordi is like, yeah, well, no, the partitions are the only thing keeping Data alive, and Picard is like, okay, well, what if we lower the partitions anyway?
Yeah.
And Geordi's like, did you not hear what I just said?
It?
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But Data, but then we do the thing that I was really hoping we'd do. We go into his mind and we see both him and Lore.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool.
I agree. I definitely, and what I loved was the explanation of memories to Data and what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
And in those moments of him giving those memories away, he truly felt like, I'm losing this battle. So rather than fight it to the very end, let me freely give this to Lore in hopes that he might see what he's missed out on all these years or all these decades. And I love that so much, because you get to see the humanity inside of Data. This android that has had no humanity in his entire life, has longed for it, is freely giving up his memories so that his brother can potentially experience life in his absence. And I thought that was remarkably beautiful, remarkably written. It was so great. And
yeah,
I love how it kind of came together as Data comes back. Spoilers, Data comes back. And I thought it was so genius, because I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. He's going to get so overwhelmed with all these memories. And since he's an android, they're just going to come in fast. And he's going to get all these sights. And then all of a sudden, this animosity and anger that he has is going to vanish, because now he's experienced what love is and experiencing what friendship and what family is. And he's feeling all these things hit him in waves, but they're so spontaneous that it's like it becomes Data. And that was that transition, which I was like, beautiful. Bravo. Well done.
Yeah, I agree. And the final when Lore says goodbye, brother.
Yes. Oh,
So
it actually choked me up a little. Like, I rewound it, because the first time I watched it, it was almost as if it was Data on both sides saying goodbye, brother, because Data was no longer going to be Data. It was going to be a combination of the two. Yeah. So that's kind of how I first saw it, and I rewound it, and I was like, oh, no, that's Lore. And I was like, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Oh,
yeah, it's smart that they never change where Lore and Data are on the screen.
Yes.
So we never lose track of of who is talking to who. And Brent Spiner is good anyway, and he's able to. Apparently, what he did was, he would deliver his line as Data and then walk around the camera to his Marc as Lore and then deliver his line as Lore.
That is hilarious.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
I thought that I was watching the Ready Room bit, and Brent Spiner is apparently they have this whole thing about bringing back Data, and they wanted to, and Terry Matalas was like, it's inconceivable to do a Next Generation reunion and not bring back Brent Spiner.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want Brent Spiner to play another Sung because he's been playing every Sung ever made. So I thought it was really, really interesting that they had this idea to be like, okay, well, what if we did this idea that Data is alive, but not in a way that takes away from his previous two deaths. Because he even like Data constantly reminds people, it's like, no, it's me, but it's also not me. Yeah. This isn't the person you knew is still in me, but I am a new person.
Correct.
And I think that's really cool. I think that was a really smart way to go about it.
So big question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to go and get like a giant phoenix tattoo on his back saying Rebirth?
No. He'll get a tattoo of Spot. By the way, it's insane to me. I don't know if you know anything about. I don't know how much you know about Spot.
No.
His Spot, the cat's gender, changes frequently throughout the Next Generation.
When I looked at it, okay, I looked at it and I was like, doesn't look like the same cat to me, but we'll run with it. We'll go.
Well, I mean, that cat's dead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but like just the look of the cat looked very much different.
It's not that different from the last time we saw him in Generations. Obviously, most cats are mutts, to use the dog vernacular. So it's very difficult to find the exact same color of orange cat. But I think they did an orange cat shows up in Data's memories. You're going to be like, oh, that's Spot.
Yeah.
And I think that was the part that actually really hit me is when Spot happened. And then someone posted on Twitter, Spot, our gender fluid queen. Because throughout the Next Generation, there's an episode there's a Next Generation episode where Spot has kittens.
Really?
Yeah. There's an episode, and we never see those kittens again, by the way. I think she ate them. Well, so okay, just for context, it's the episode where the crew, where like Barclay has this disease and Beverly gives him a cure that makes it so that the entire crew starts devolving into their baser instincts.
Yes.
And Spot was pregnant in that episode, and so before Spot turned into a lizard, they had kittens.
Okay.
And then we never saw those kittens again.
Gotcha.
So hopefully those kittens are okay.
Right.
But I think that was really sweet, and going through Data's memories, like with the playing cards. If we don't get a poker scene in this season,
we're not getting one.
Come on, we gotta. Don't do that to me.
Okay, if we do, I kid you not, it's gonna be this round table. I'm calling it now. Data has passed away. He sacrificed for everyone.
I don't think Data's dying.
They're gonna be a round table, and on the round table, you're gonna see every character, and then you're gonna see an empty. I'm trying not to choke up. You're gonna see an empty chair, and it's where Data used to sit.
Okay, I'm gonna take that one step further and say that Data doesn't die at the end of the season. And the final episode, the final shot, is they're all in Chateau Picard. They're all playing poker. Okay. That's how you end the season. Is it
gonna be like one of those that 70s show type of thing? The smoke's in the air.
No, I think because it will mirror the finale of All Good Things, right? Okay. Because that's how All Good Things ends, with Picard finally joins the poker table, and it kind of zooms out, and that's the end of the show. I think it's conceivable that they would mirror that. Okay. And I want it. And Miles is there, and Keiko is there, and they're all having fun. Everyone's there. Chateau Picard's big. It's a party.
Alexander's in the corner.
Alexander's there. Sure, why not? Kestra. Hey, Kestra finally gets a moment. Gets a name call in this episode. I was happy about that. Poor Alexander. Never once.
Nothing at all.
Never once gets mentioned.
Oh, it's priceless.
Anyway, so let's talk about Deanna and Riker. Get a lot in
Yes.
this episode. Really, really happy about that too.
Yeah. You can their chemistry just it doesn't dissipate. It's so very much like you're seeing these two people rehash what it means to be these characters again and hit those beats and hit those marks, but at the same time age their relationship so much further. And you're seeing like a relationship where it's 20 years of them being married or 20 years of them being together type of thing. It's really nice.
Yeah, what's wonderful about this is I'm gonna bring up the Ready Room again because there are two really great featurettes on last week's Ready Room, which is one about Deanna and Riker's relationship and one about Data.
Okay.
I highly recommend watching last week's Ready Room. It's been my favorite so far. So Riker and Deanna have such an interesting on-screen relationship in the sense that there is none. Right, their relationship is from prior to the Next Generation,
Correct.
and they don't really do anything with it up until the movies. Apparently, that was because the writers didn't want to. The writers didn't like their relationship or the idea that they're in a relationship. They wanted Riker to kind of be this freewheeling, falling in love with whatever woman of the week they can find.
The William Shatner of the group.
The William Shatner of the group, exactly. And and it was apparently Jonathan Frakes and Marita Sirtis who kept that relationship alive. So they would constantly do scenes, do glances, do looks, act like they still have this romantic relationship. And a lot of it would end up on the cutting room floor, but sometimes it would slip by. And it would really piss off the suits, apparently, the producers at Paramount, because they really didn't want it. But they kept going and they kept trying and they wanted to do this, and they wanted to do it because they felt it was important. So it really helped. So the fact that they were pushing this relationship for so long, I think really helps them slip right back into it when we see them in this episode.
Yeah.
Because they themselves have built this relationship. They are willing to be like, okay, yes, you are the love of my life. You are the and you see it in Riker. Riker adores Deanna. And you 100% believe it from these two that they are in love. And what's so incredible about their relationship has survived the death of a child.
Yeah. Which is almost like for a lot of people, that's an impossible feat to come back from.
Yeah.
And especially Deanna and her species of people, like being an empath and feeling everything and then looking to the love of your life and not feeling them is like gotta rip you apart because you lose the feeling with the connection you have with your son, and then you're now losing the connection you have with your husband. Yeah. Breaks you down, man.
And you look at like, is that a window?
Yes.
I thought that was a wall. This whole time I have been recording with you for years. I thought that was a wall.
It's a window. It's just I can't see if my car alarm is going off or not. Sorry, give me a second.
Okay, go ahead. Well, I'll mark the notes.
No, it's not me. We're good. Okay. I keep hearing an alarm go off, and I'm like, what is going on? Okay, it's not me.
You know what? It's not long enough for us to cut it out, so audience just going to get that.
They're just going to get all the... Thank God, again, I'm wearing pants, so...
No, sometimes you're not.
There's plenty of times I'm
not. So what I think is so great about going back to just Deanna and Riker is what I think is so great about the scene is that we get a lot of information about why Riker left, because he talked about it with Picard, like I just didn't feel anymore, and now we know why. Deanna numbed him on accident.
Yes.
And still, even through that, Riker was still willing to forgive Deanna, to love Deanna, and be with Deanna forever. And Deanna feels very remorseful for it because she thought she was helping him, but she hurt him more. And it's such a... I really just can't praise just the two of them in this scene and this scene enough. It was just pitch perfect for me.
For sure. Did she actually do it on accident, or I thought she did it on purpose, like deliberately to numb him so that he could kind of come back to her?
Well, she says it. She says, I wanted to take your pain I wanted to take that pain away from you so you wouldn't hurt anymore. I wanted to help you. But in doing so, she accidentally numbed him to all feeling.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's what hurt their relationship for a bit. That's why Riker left.
Mhm.
And Riker doesn't blame her for it, which I think is really interesting. Is he doesn't look at her like she did something wrong. He understands that she was trying to help. It's just that it didn't work. And
Yeah.
he was like, I needed that grief. I needed to feel Thad's death, and you wouldn't let me.
Mhm.
It's a really powerful scene. I think Jonathan Frakes, man, I'm getting such good Jonathan Frakes material this season.
We really are, and I'm loving it. It's I do love the situation of them kind of just being in this moment and being able to, like, when you're watching this, everything kind of dissipates around you, and that soul moment just takes hold of you, takes hold of your emotions, and you feel this connection that you're like sitting there with them. Like, they deliver these lines and their emotions so well. It's beautifully done. I'm saying beautiful all the time, but the writing is really, really well done. Like, I'm thoroughly impressed with how well these writers did with this season.
Yeah, me too. I think I think that when they decided to bring back this cast, we talked about a lot how it could have just been very surface level, very fan service, but they really did think about it. They really did think about where these characters would be and how they would interact at this point in their lives. Although nobody calls out Beverly for leaving for 20 years.
Not at all.
No one does, and I don't understand it. When Deanna's good, like, I missed you, and I talked to you all the time, and I was like, she's the one who left. She cut you off.
I've been thinking about you, even though you were gone. It's like, no, you haven't.
I mean, I'm sure she has, because they were all friends. And Riker even says in the beginning, do we know why no one knows why she cut us all off. She cut everyone off. And everyone is just like, oh, Beverly, give me a hug. I'm so happy you're back. And I'm like, is no one going to address the fact that she's the one who cut you guys off?
It's one of those mysteries, man.
I'm sure they're all happy she's back because they love her. Clearly, they're all friends, and they didn't understand why she cut him off in the first place. But someone's got to acknowledge the fact that, like, hey, when you did that, it really hurt us.
Yeah.
Maybe Worf should have sent her a severed head.
Passive aggressive.
That was an incredible line.
It was. I loved it.
My favorite line in the episode, however, is when Worf saves Riker and Troy, and he says, "One's personal space is a right."
She's just, I don't care. Come here, you big love. Oh, it's so good.
I love, and then he starts talking to Deanna like,
yes.
like, Deanna, I have thought about you every day since you have left.
Riker's like, hello, I'm right here, guys.
And he's just like, is this a part of the torture?
Oh, so good, so great.
Yeah, I really love. Although I don't understand why Worf walks up to Raffi and Raffi's just like, yeah, it's me, and he just goes, cool. Not gonna do no more tests.
Yeah, that's it. You passed.
You passed the test. You said it was you.
Yeah,
I believe you. I mean, luckily they were right, but still, it's weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of the. This is why I said in the beginning of the episode that this will feel that the finale will be very emotionally fulfilling to me, because I think what this season has done really well is given me these character moments that feel emotionally fulfilling every episode.
Yeah.
So even if I am maybe slightly frustrated with the plotting of this episode in regards to the mystery of the overarching season, I think that it really pales in comparison to where we are at when we get character moments, because I think that's where the season's strength is.
Yes.
All over. I think no matter what, the season strength is that it feels real, and we're getting these kind of great emotional moments with these cast of characters.
Absolutely. I do have to say I would say there's one definite moment that doesn't need to be there, and I think it's just like they just put it in type of concept where it just felt really, really out of place when I know I'm jumping really far ahead.
Go ahead.
Can't remember the lady's name. The bad lady,
Vadic.
Vadic. When she is about to get sucked out into space, and she drops this untimely f bomb.
Oh, I
That
like that.
I don't get me wrong. I like it when it's needed, when it's warranted. It had no weight to it for me.
Mm.
It was just like you guys could have placed that anywhere else.
I don't know. I really liked it. It's actually my favorite F-bomb that Star Trek has ever dropped.
Really?
Yeah, I really think so because I mean, one of them belongs to Tilly, so low
Okay,
bar.
so like if Geordi, when Data was, you saw that like Data's synapses brain was turning from blue to red.
Yeah.
When that completely went, that would have been a time where Geordi would have said, just boom, F. Like that would have hit and resonated so much. Like, dude, I just lost my best friend again.
Oh, but man, real quickly because you brought that up, when he sees that happen and you see his face just like can't process that he's just lost his best friend again,
Yeah.
and just like, damn, just oh, so good. But going back to Vadic's death, I there's a lot in that I really like, which it's the whole I don't know, man. It really worked for me. Just the effing solids blown out through space, just so good.
It felt weak to me. It just was like something that like not a child, but like a high schooler would say. It just didn't have a real presence needed, warranted. Like it could have just said, damn, solids, boom. But then Geordi watching that and not knowing how to cope with seeing his friend's death and realizing he kind of, in his mind, he caused that death to happen. That's the F moment that would have resonated a lot more, I think.
I don't know if I want to see Geordi drop an F-bomb.
Well, I listened to it. I used to. I haven't been listening to a lot of podcasts, but I don't know if you've ever listened to his podcast. He has wonderful. He does a lot of short stories and he just reads them.
Yeah.
And he drops he drops so much cursing on there. It's not even funny. But it's
so.
well. Because he used to be a priest.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he was in the Brotherhood of the Priesthood. He was going to become a Catholic priest, and he ended up just stopped doing that. He's no longer a Catholic. Yeah, he was going down the path of being a priest.
I had no idea. That's so interesting.
Yeah. It's very like his story is very, very cool story.
Interestingly, I knew him from reading Rainbow before I watched Star Trek.
Oh, who didn't?
Well, but like it was around the same time. It's just weird that reading Rainbow hit me before Star Trek did because I watched them both around the same time.
So you're telling me you didn't watch The Color Purple? I'm joking.
No, I've never seen The Color Purple, actually.
All right, I'm sorry. This is driving me crazy. About to yell at somebody.
What's going on?
Like, can you hear it on the mic?
No.
There's like a horn going off, and I think it's my car, but I look, it's not my car. But I don't know. It's driving me crazy, and I feel bad. I feel like you can hear this horn in the background. Just
no, I can't hear it at all. I can't hear it at all.
Well, then we're good.
Good content for the episode.
I'm sorry.
Just constantly being like, "What is my car alarm going off?" No, so anyway, I just a rare time where the two of us disagree on something.
Don't get me wrong. You know me, I don't curse, but
sure.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having that in there. I just wish it was in a different placement. That's all. I don't think that Star Trek doesn't necessarily need to have cursing or does it not need to have it. I think that when it's warranted, it's perfectly fine. It fits where it needs to be fit. I just think that it could have been better placed. And then there's a walking scene. We'll get to it later. I don't want to talk about it now, but the walking scene between Geordi and Data towards the end is the other one that kind of felt weird for me.
Really?
Yes. But we'll talk about it when we get back to that.
Yeah, I want to put a pin in that one because I'm interested to hear what you have to say about that. But I want to talk about there's a smash cut. There's a smash cut that I really like that I want to talk about, which is Deanna says, did we do the right thing giving them the compromised prefix code? And Riker's like, well, if I'm sure Picard's got them in a classic Jean-Luc Picard trap. Smash cut to Vadic on the bridge with the chair. Yes. Incredible bit of comedy.
Yes, very much so. And I loved how well Vadic played a villain in this moment, especially her taking over the and kind of like doing this psychological torture between the bridge crew was really well done.
Yeah, I really like Vatic. I think she was a fun villain. I think Amanda Plummer plays her very well. I'm honestly sad that that's it. No more
She's
Vatic.
gone. What do you think the purpose is for the smoking the cigar type of thing? Like, what was that?
Oh, because she's changeling, so she's smoking.
Yeah, it's like, why?
I feel like it's got to be like an aesthetic thing that she just likes how it looks, because it's
Okay.
not like it's doing anything for her.
Yeah, nothing at all. Yeah, that's why I was very curious. Is like,
Or
why
could her, because she has the ability to replicate internal organs in a way that changelings have never been able to do before. Perhaps
Okay.
it does. Perhaps she can feel the effects of the smoke because of that.
That's interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the discourse online about her smoking, and I just kind of feel like rather than saying why it can't work, I think it's more fun to kind of come up with explanations for why it can.
Mhm.
At the very least, I think it's because she just liked the way it looks.
Gotcha.
Because she
She looked cool. I won't lie to you. She looked cool doing it when the lighter that she has. It was always cool. The sound that they had.
and when it like going in through the top of the bridge,
Yes.
and she opens the lighter.
It's all this aesthetics of it was really well done.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm a little bummed that we lost Vatic though.
I'm not. I liked her death.
I like her death, but I had this problem when we were introduced to the face for the first time, right? The fact that like, sorry, my AC turned off and I need it to turn back on because it's getting hot again.
No problem.
Wait, I really think that like I had this fear when we were first introduced to the Goo Face, whoever Goo Face is, that it took away from Vatic, and I feel like it did.
Okay.
I really have to see where these final 2 episodes go for me to kind of have an opinion on this, really. But right now, I'm a little bummed that we kind of lost the central antagonist that we've been following for so long,
Mhm.
with still 2 hours left to go in this show.
I agree. I think that because they already established that she is very much a pawn in this whole entire organization.
And
But
we
if they
haven't
showed-
met Goo Face yet, so
That's the problem. I think like if we were to have met him and kind of really understood who he was and potentially maybe how many pawns there are out there, because having just one pawn, you can't really do anything on the chessboard with just one pawn, and that's it. You're gonna need more than just that to like really make things happen. So I'm interested to see who or what this goop creature is, and seeing exactly how true they are to their word that she is just a pawn. She's easily expendable.
And Deanna says that there's something in Jack that's ancient.
Yes.
So I'm kind of going back to my Paul Wraith theory.
It's very, very, very much plausible now.
Man, that'd be so cool if this was Paul Wraiths.
Do you want to get into that moment with Deanna and Jack?
No, I want to wait because that pissed me off.
Really?
Well, I don't like that because it ends on a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
It just ends the episode in the same way that the last episode ended with like,
Mhm.
oh, the next one you'll get. Don't worry, the next one you'll get answers about Jack. Oh no, actually, the next one you'll get answers about Jack. And I'm like, okay, but actually, can you like tell me who Jack is at this point? Because I'm tired of being. It's gotten to the point when you do a show like this that is centered around a mystery of like who is this, who is this character, what does it relate to? The longer you drag it out, the more frustrated your audience gets.
Mhm.
And I think they officially crossed that line with this episode.
I agree.
And that's not a place I wanted the season to go, honestly.
I can definitely agree with that for sure.
But I see no reason why they have to push it again. So hopefully next episode we get it. Although I saw a clip. So I saw on the Ready Room there's a clip of this of we see Jack and Deanna holding hands as the extended part of this thing. And Deanna opens the door and then just like severs her connection with Jack and then bolts out the door. And I'm like, boy, I'm so curious what's going on.
Right? That would definitely, kind of keep me on my toes a little bit. What's going on?
Yeah, I really do like a lot of this episode. Let's get into so so Vatic kills Tavine,
Yes.
and yeah, I can't hear your garage door actually. I mean, it's cool. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so Vatic does kill Tavine. There's kind of a lot of play of like, okay, well, who is she going to kill? Is she going to kill Lieutenant Mura? Is she going to kill Lieutenant Esmar? No, she kills Lieutenant Tavine, and that's a bummer because I like Tavine.
I think I like just about all of the bridge crew here because we actually get to know who the bridge crew is. Discovery.
Poor Discovery. It's not even on the air anymore, and we're still taking pot shots at it. No, yeah, you're right. I do really like this cast, and that's really good. Like, I really like the fact that it's kind of a two-edged sword. Like, I really like the fact that that they killed Tavine, and I felt something because that means that you actually did do at least a fair job of telling me who these characters are and making sure that I was familiar with them enough to care about their death when it happens.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer but on the same token, it's a bummer that we lost Tavine because I thought she was the most interesting of the bridge crew outside of Sydney LaForge.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Let's see.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I like the way that Vatic kind of played on who she was gonna kill, and really built up the suspense a lot for me. Was really enjoyable because I did not expect that. Like, I saw once that phaser kind of came out at the girl, and I was like, oh no, and then boom, it just like, wait, what just happened? And you're just like kind of taken back very much so. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, it's actually such a really nuanced scene too. Like, if you watch it a few times, you pick up on certain things that Vatic is doing. There's one bit, Vatic goes around Mura and then to Esmar, and then when she's walking to Esmar, she looks at Tavine,
and
that's what the audience cue to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
The disintegrations, the vaporizing of the phasers is a really cool effect this season.
Yes.
Just think it's kind of neat. Although, why are all phasers set on vaporize?
Yeah, and not stun.
There's like every phaser. I get it. For a changeling, probably should vaporize them.
Yes.
But the fact that every phaser has been set to vaporize, not even kill, it's just vaporize, is very strange to me.
I agree.
So Worf is great in this show. I'm so happy to have Worf back.
Very much.
Let's talk about Data and Geordi scene that you talked about. Let's take the pin out of it and let's talk about that now.
Okay, so we have two long lost friends finally reunited once again, and holy matrimony, if you will. They're best friends, and when you haven't seen your best friend in a while, you have this special connection with them, and it's like. And it's an instant love, like brother sisterly love that you have with them. And I didn't get that from them towards the end when they kind of really said their piece to each other. And Geordi's talking about how he's sorry for what happened, but he wants him to know that he truly cares about him as a friend, and Data vice versa. And it was almost like that awkward moment when you're on a first date and it's like, okay, do I give you a high five? Do I give you a handshake? Do I go in for the kiss? Are we going all the way to, you want to come in for some coffee? Like, we didn't know where we were going with that moment, and it felt very awkward to me. It felt like they didn't know how to handle their relationship as friends, as brothers, as best friends. It felt very much detached.
Interesting. I don't disagree with that. I do quite like the dialogue between the two of them.
No, I like that. It's just
because Geordi says
something.
Yeah, because Geordi says, I'm happy to have my best friend back. And Data is like, I'm glad that I'm always grateful for your friendship, which is a callback to early Next Gen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that scene should have ended in a hug.
It really should have. Like, it needed something to really like bridge that gap. Like, I really missed you, best friend. Like, when I see, I'm trying to think, I just went for a blank. I'm gonna go with Gandalf and and Professor X. When you see them out in public, they are best friends in real life. They are best friends. They'll hug each other, they'll give each other a kiss on the cheek. They love each other to dear life. And that is the relationship I wish I saw with Geordi and Data, is that they truly are best friends. And now that Geordi is seeing Data as a human, and Data feels himself as a human with emotions and not expanding on it, it's like that is your perfect moment to expand on emotion and just say like I genuinely love you. You are my best friend. I love you, and give them a warm embrace. Like I wouldn't say it's like a sexual intimacy. It's just a friendship bond intimacy that needed to be there that was left hanging.
No, I felt very much the same way in that scene. I literally yelled at my TV screen. I was like, hug.
Yeah, hug him,
hug, because like it does feel, because like Geordi kind of goes in a little closer, and you're right, it's not a romance thing. It's like my best friend, like every time I see my best friend, I'm hugging him.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like I think that like I do think that these two should have had that hug moment, because it would have been really impactful to have, and really important to see, because like these two people haven't seen each other in 35 years.
Correct.
No.
It's about 35.
It hasn't been 35 years since Nemesis.
What, 20 years?
Wait, so it's 2401, Nemesis 2276. So
calculator.
Yeah, do 2401 minus 2376. And we'll do the math real quickly.
25 years.
So it's been 25 years.
We're close.
Yeah. So it's been 25 years since the last time they saw each other, and Data was dead for all that time. Geordi didn't see the next time Data died. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I do think it would have been important to kind of have a little bit, to kind of have that capper, right? It's like the emotional swell of a romance scene has to end with a kiss.
Exactly.
Like a big romantic kiss. This is kind of the same thing. This is the big platonic swell of two best friends who haven't seen each other 25 years. One of them has just come back from the dead.
Twice.
Three times. And now you have to, and now I think it needs to end with an embrace.
Yes, I agree.
But it outside of that, I think the dialogue is still good. It's nice to see them together again. And that leads us to the conference table.
Yes. Well, before we get to that, do you want to talk about Jack?
What is there to say about Jack in this episode?
Okay, I guess my thing is, thank you guys for answering nothing for us, because we still don't know who Jack is. Besides, you've added more into this where I didn't necessarily have a want to know what's behind the door. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, okay, I want to know what's behind the door. I still want to know who Jack is. I still want to know why he's that important to everybody. If what our hypothesis was last episode, if it actually is true or not, because they share that DNA, that DNA of Picard and him. I'm interested to see what's going on. And the way that Vadic kind of explained things, she knew a lot about his history. And it's like, okay, how does she know this? Why does she know this?
Yeah, she knows a lot about Jack, a lot more than Jack knows about himself. And Jack is even kind of like frustrated about the fact that she's not sharing what she knows, and much like we are. There's apparently two hints in the scene towards something in the future. Seven stays behind when the crew is locked in the conference room. I don't know why she does that. I think she's an idiot for doing so. And she's she's like
making choices or whatever.
No, she's like, I'm handling the consequences, and I'm like, are you though?
Yeah, like what exactly are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Just stand there?
Yeah.
Like there's just no point. Anyway, that was another here nor there. I think it's just there to hint at something. But here's the thing about Jack. I like Jack. I like Ed Spilliers. I think the character of Jack Crusher up until this point has been a really engaging character that we do know quite a bit about, that I'm fine with following, and I enjoy this character to the point where now that there's a mystery surrounding this character, I'm frustrated to learn what that mystery is going to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that the show has taken the time to make me care about Jack outside of the mystery. because it could have just very easily just not done that, and
Yeah.
I personally think they have. But this episode has nothing for Jack. Jack is a passive participant in the episode outside of two moments where he goes into the mind of Mura, and then he does the big triumphant shield generator thing at the end there. Like, but outside of that, we don't learn anything new about Jack. Jack doesn't really have an active stake in the story at this point. It's just he just kind of exists in this episode, and that's kind of a bummer.
For sure. It was a missed opportunity to expand on his character and just answer one mystery. Just give us something versus give us like, we're going to get hit so much and bombarded with so many, hopefully bombarded with so many like different answers that we've wanted throughout the entire season in 2 episodes. It's like, it's a lot of work to pull off, guys. Like, are you sure you have enough time to do that in 2 hours?
Yeah. I mean, you got to hope that they do, because technically this is long. 2 hours is longer than most of the next gen movies anyway.
Yeah.
So you just got to hope that they are able to pull something off. And like I said, I have faith about the emotionality of these final 2 episodes. I am a little concerned about the mystery that this season has hung its hat on, resolving in any sort of meaningful way. That's not to say they can't pull it off.
Yeah.
And I hope that they do. Desperately hope that they do.
Right.
Because I like this season a lot. Even if it doesn't, I think that this season holds a lot of value. Outside of the second season, which lost all of its value and decided to be terrible.
Right. I have one little thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are so horrible with this because Shaw's still alive.
I thought Shaw would be dead by now.
Right? Like, the mystery of Shaw. How is this man still alive?
And you know what?
Up to a pulp and he's still here.
I am happy he's still alive because I really like him.
Yes. He's grown very much on me. And I loved his scene coming back into the bridge, like after the doors opened up. And 7 and 9's like, all right, Captain, the bridge is yours. And he doesn't even say a word. He just, leave me alone, you son of a biscuit.
No, he gives Jack a pat on the shoulder, like a thank you pat on the shoulder.
And then he just goes back to 7 and he's like, you take it from here, pretty much. Like, he's like, I'm tired.
So 7 and Shaw have such an interesting dynamic in this episode. I'm glad you brought this up because I almost forgot to. So 7 didn't blow the turbo lift, and Shaw is like, you should have blown the turbo lift. Because in Shaw's mind, he needs to be the person to sacrifice himself so that everyone lives. That's why
captain.
Well, it's not that's why he's the captain. That's what he learned from his experience in Wolf 359. He would never let his crew suffer the same. If he can die to save his crew, he will do it 110%.
Yeah.
But 7 was raised on Voyager, where Janeway was all about everybody gets home. Everybody gets home, including myself. We're all getting home.
Yeah, so it's very much 2 different mentalities.
Yeah, and so seeing that kind of clash between how they command is actually really interesting and really compelling, and I didn't quite see it until this episode.
Now as you brought it up, yeah, I didn't see it either until just now. Until you brought it up, I'm like, oh, they really make a good collaboration, and it reminds me a lot of Riker and Picard.
Yeah, a little bit.
They're very much 2 different dynamics.
Riker's a bit more hot-headed, or he used to be.
Yeah.
Nowadays he's a little bit more cautious. Then they destroy the strike and they killed Vadic. Oh, so the view screen. I want to talk a little bit about the view screen.
Like how it opened up?
I love that.
That was so cool. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, I really like the idea that the view screen. So okay, so apparently this is something really cool that I didn't. I have been railing against New Trek ever since Star Trek 09, Star Trek Into Darkness, Beyond, Discovery. Their view screens are windows.
Okay.
And I hate that. And I've talked about it before on the show. I've talked about it for years. I hate it. I don't understand why it's a window, because it's never been a window. It's always been like a TV screen.
Projection, yeah.
But for whatever reason, the aesthetic for modern Trek has been a window. However, the Titan what I thought was a window is actually not. It doubles as a window and a projection. So there's a bulkhead behind the view screen
Okay.
so there's a bulkhead behind the view screen, and then there's a projection on top of that, which is what we see most of the time.
Gotcha.
And so if the view screen is compromised, they raise that bulkhead so the screen can act as a window.
You can see. That's brilliant.
I think that's pretty cool.
That is very genius. That is so freaking cool to think of.
It's such a cool way to adapt what became such a newer Star Trek staple of the window view screen and keep it into the classic style of view screens, merging the two in such a fascinating way that makes sense with the lore of the show and the franchise.
Because if you think about it, like, if the systems go down, what do you do? And you can't see out of this screen. It's like, well, these windows let's just open up the curtains, let in some fresh air. And it's like, that's brilliant. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Smart thinking.
I thought that was a really cool idea, which is why it opens up and Vadic gets blown out. And I was like, that's cool.
Genius.
Well done. Well done.
I liked it.
I really like the production designers on this show. I think they are some of the most talented that these Star Trek shows have had.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got before we call it a day.
Just the round table, I think, right? Just a little round table discussion.
Oh, I love the I don't want to get to that yet. I want to talk about just real quickly, just want to mention I love the running joke that everybody hates Chateau Picard so much.
The alcohol sucks. It's bitter or it's tart, I think he said it was.
It's a Worf says outside of the annual sour mead. Mead?
Nobody
quite
likes
tart.
It.
And then Geordi's like, on my 6th anniversary on Rigel, the 6 years ago on my anniversary, you gave me a present. What was it? A Chateau Picard Bodor, which you said was too dry because your taste in wine is pedestrian at best.
Awesome.
Good
stuff. Yeah.
I think ever since the first episode when Shaw was like, I'm more of a Mullback man myself. Brilliant idea to keep up with this trend that everybody just does not like Chateau Picard.
Yes. One thing we've talked about it because I've seen like all of the liquor that they've kind of displayed as far as Star Trek, and it all looks. I want one of each. I want two of each. One that I can drink from, and the other one just to have on display because they are so cool.
You know about the Star Trek Wines website, right?
What happened to it?
No, but you know about it, right?
Yeah.
You should buy some.
I know. It just I can't pull myself to spend that amount of money on alcohol because it's not cheap. It is expensive.
The cheapest Chateau Picard is like $60, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, $20 for wine. That's a little pricey. I don't know if we can handle all that. Where's my carton of box wine?
And you know what? Can I just say real quickly? I have had Chateau Picard. I agree with Geordi.
Really?
It's quite dry.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I
feel like because I went to the 10 Forward bar last year, remember? Yeah. So like I feel like what happened was someone had the Chateau Picard that they sell and didn't like it and decided to make this the running joke.
That's great. It's on my list. One day I'll try them all out. That's a really cool thing to do. If you could do that for your show, if they had like small sample sizes, like, hey,
sure,
get a personal one instead of a whole big one.
Yeah. I really like the Star Trek Wines website. They have like Romulan ale and Andorian ale. They have Klingon blood wine.
I trust me. I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, let me just see how much this is going to cost me. And I literally added like everything. And I'm like, no,
yeah,
there's no way.
I got a child coming. I can't.
Yeah, I can't do this.
The retaking the ship is great. Worf, Raffi, Deanna, and Riker together, awesome. Loved it. Destroying the strike, great. Let's talk about the round table.
Before that, destroying the strike.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it so easy?
I
understand you don't have your captain. I understand that. I get it perfectly fine. But literally, you guys shot out like 6 little shots and you destroyed it completely. But you guys couldn't do this beforehand?
The shields are down.
I mean,
the shields are down.
I guess. Yeah. It
I
just felt
mean,
too easy.
a derelict Klingon bird of prey destroyed a Galaxy-class starship.
Okay, touche.
Like this is not new in Star Trek.
I know. It just
If
was
you
like,
don't
oh,
have shields, it's just you just have hull there, and if you
yeah,
know, where to
to hit.
hit it, it's gonna be relatively easy. I mean, if the
Mhm.
shields are down, they'd be shooting at that thing for a while.
Yeah,
No, I mean, the shields were up,
shields
they'd
were
be
up.
shooting at that
Yeah, I know
thing
what
for
you
a
meant.
while.
Yeah.
But also, after a while, the rule of cool has to trump the rule of logic,
Yeah.
which is something that Star Trek fans don't quite understand.
Because everything is based off of logic.
Yeah, but sometimes the rule of cool needs to take precedent.
Yeah, and it was cool.
The round table, we finally got, buddy. I cried.
Did you really?
I did because I was like, my family is back.
It was a cool heartfelt moment. I will say that. I didn't cry, but I just felt the warmth of love in that room. And it was great. It
It was
was
just
great.
so nice to see all of them together again, sitting around a table.
I'm still
Um,
disappointed we don't have Riker in his pose. Like, just give me Riker with his leg up just once.
I don't
Let
think
me
he can
die in
do it
peace.
anymore.
He's like, if I get this thing up, I can't get it back down.
I think he's too old. You got to make a really small chair. Real quickly though, I think he looks really good.
Yeah.
I think they all look really good for their age.
Mhm.
They've all aged really nicely, uh, with the exception of possibly Brent. I think Brent's getting a little long in the tooth in a way that the others aren't.
Yeah, like he's
Um,
not telling me he's not taking care of himself as much as the others are.
yeah, Jordy LeVar looks incredible.
He's like
Um,
that. What I mean, like that in person, he is a he's a gorgeous man in person.
yeah,
Like he is his beard, the white on the dark
it
complexion,
looks so good. That white beard looks so good on him.
he pulls it off. And the smoothness that you see in Jordy is replicated in LeVar. Like he
Yeah.
is smooth to the T.
That's good. That's awesome. I think Gates had a little too much work done.
Speaking of Gates, so my buddies at MegaCon, they tried to
Oh
get
yes, part 2 from last week.
so they try to get like all the signatures for me. I had like 3 or 4 signatures for my Spider-Man one, and Saturday was completely slammed. That they actually sold out of tickets for Saturday. They sold out of 4-day tickets. Friday tickets and Saturday tickets were completely sold out.
Right.
And they ended up having to go and like rebring back tickets so you can go and purchase them from I think like 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock till close. And it was like $70 for those tickets just for a half a day. That's how expensive it was.
Yeah.
Cut the long story short, it was super slammed and packed. My friends couldn't go anywhere on Saturday. It was so busy. So they're like, all right, we're going to try for Sunday.
Yeah.
And Sunday came around. They went to her and she's like, oh, I'm not signing at all at the con today or at the con at all. I'm only doing photographs. I'm like, no. Broke me down so much. I'm like, can't you just sign my, like, I wish I was there to just say, I beg you, please. Like, there's a little $20 bill on the bottom of this comic book. Just sign it for me. But
Sure.
she didn't sign it. So I'm definitely brokenhearted, but I hope I get another chance to add some more signatures up because I really want to.
Yeah, I hope you do. I hope you do too. Anyways, but I don't mean to like body shame anyone. Age is rough on anybody. But the I just wanted to say that I think Riker looks better than he did in season 1. Because I like season 1. I like seeing Riker in season 1, but I don't think he looked very good in season 1, and it looks like
vacationed Riker.
He's vacation Riker, but now he's like lost some weight. He's a lot more energetic. He's gotten kind of his suave back. His face is leaner. I think he looks really good this season.
Same here.
So that's all I got.
It was a great episode.
Great episode. Very emotional. I love seeing them back around the round table, around the conference table. That's just, and they're all in uniforms, and it's just so nice to see because I miss them so much.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to the next episode a couple of days at this point.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. Very excited, my friend.
So, what are we thinking? 2 more episodes. You think they can do it?
They better do it. If not, we're gonna be upset. You and I will probably go over to the studio and just have a couple words with them.
I don't know if I'll be that upset. If, like I said, if they can deliver on the emotions of the finale,
You'll be happy.
I think I will still be happy.
Okay.
But I do want them to nail it. I do want this final episode, those final 2 episodes, to just really deliver something special.
I agree.
And I hope they can do it.
For sure. Same here.
All right. Well, that'll do it. Not only is this 2 more episodes of Star Trek Picard, this is also 2 more episodes with you, sir. Clearing up the tears. Anyway, why don't you plug your stuff?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Just Little Podcast. On Twitter, Just Podcasting. The podcast will still be up and live, so you can check out the back catalog, Just Little Podcast. I have a new video potentially coming in the works for the YouTube channel if I can get a chance to record it. And then you can find me here on the Fake Nerds Podcast for 2 more episodes and maybe a special guest in the near future. But I know you can check me out on some other shows that Brandon is doing. And I know he will disclose those wonderful shows because I cannot wait to hear them.
Well, as always, guys, this is Fake Nerds Watch. You are watching for Star Trek Fake Nerds Watch for Star Trek Picard Season 3. There are plenty of other Star Trek Fake Nerds Watches that have happened in the past. Go check out the back catalog where Cookie and I, and if you go back far enough, a different co-host, talk about various Star Trek episodes. And there will be, of course, more to come. Strange New Worlds comes out in June. Unfortunately, I have to find a new co-host for that, but there will be.
Sorry.
But there will be a one. I refuse to not talk about that season. But there is more Fake Nerds Watch. At this time, The Mandalorian Season 3 is going on, and we've talked about The Mandalorian now for 2 episodes, so you can check out the first episode of that is out now, and the second one is coming soon. How are you feeling about The Mandalorian this season?
I love Star Wars, so I'm always a Star Wars lover, but there is a mix of what's going on. Trying to figure out how all these episodes are really connecting to each other is very difficult.
I'm not crazy about The Mandalorian this season.
There are moments that just really captivate my attention, and then there are just moments where it's like I don't know what's going on, but we'll see how it all concludes.
I think Star Wars Celebration may be a bit more positive, though. I think this was a very good celebration.
Minus Kathleen Kennedy. I
like Kathleen Kennedy. Come on, don't be that person. She is a wonderful producer.
Yes, for Indiana Jones.
For E.T., Indiana Jones, the Star Wars prequels.
Yes, that's where it stops right there.
I disagree. She's the president of Lucasfilm.
I love...
She's not a story person. She doesn't do story.
I know, but she has the ability to write these checks, and she's making and breaking these decisions, so she has the final say of no or yes. But
I like what she said yes to. I like what she said yes to. Remember that.
I know. It's your favorite, which I'm still baffled about how it's your favorite, but all right.
You know what? I'll link you to a review from 15 years ago or however long it was, and you can see why I like that movie a lot.
I will. Please send it to me, because don't get me wrong, like as a standalone movie, I love it. I love the display of action, everything about it. I do love standalone, but put it into the mix of 9-10 other movies, it's like, what in the world?
Disagree. I think it's the best.
Be friends after that, though, so it's fine.
But anyway, that's enough Star Wars talk for you guys. This is a Star Trek show, Cookie. What have you done?
I didn't bring it up.
All right, so guys, of course, check out more Fake Nerds Watch. There's plenty more in the pipeline. There's Basement Arcade. Basement Arcade is a video game Let's Play series. There's Basement Arcade Pause Menu. There's 2 episodes of that out now currently that you can check out. 2 new episodes. One about video game music, and one is the video game quarterly. So just to give a quick little thing, every 3 months, my co-hosts for the Fake Nerd Podcast go on Basement Arcade Pause Menu to talk about the video games that they've been playing and the video game news that they've done throughout the 3 months of the first quarter. And so that's out now. You can check that out. It's a very cool discussion. They talk about one of my favorite games, Knockout City. So that was cool. I was not there. And then you can check out Fake Nerd Book Club and Animation Station, also shows on this channel. Maybe some new Animation Stations coming out, especially in regards to Star Wars. Star Wars Vision Season 2 is coming. We've discussed maybe doing a Season 1 review on Animation Station. That was really cool. Love Star Wars Visions, by the way.
Yes, I'm with you.
Finally, we did it. We found common Star Wars ground.
Did you read the novel for Ronan?
No, I haven't, though. It's actually right here. I just didn't get around to it.
Great read. Wonderful read.
So my favorite was the twins.
Okay. The twins are really cool. Like, yeah, the animation for that was really, really cool.
I'm a big like Trigger guy. So the animation studio Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
They did Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I effing love them. And so like they did the twins, which is just 10 minutes of just the most insane batshit Star Wars shit I've ever seen in my life. I was just like,
I'm out in space.
Oh my God. So good. It's so good. Anyway. And of course, guys, there's our newest show, our brand new show, The Real Score, has launched its first episode. Please check it out. We're really proud of it, and it's a lot of fun. New episode coming in a couple of weeks thereabouts. The first episode is talking about the Batman, Michael Giacchino's The Batman score. Where this is a show where we talk about film scores, and it's a lot of fun, and we're really proud of it, and we hope that you guys will check it out. It's actually one of I know that people have checked it out because it's actually one of our best viewed videos. Our most viewed videos.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So like, awesome. Thank you guys for checking that out and subscribing. And wonderful. That's that. Of course, you can check out the Fake Nerd Podcast. The Fake Nerd Podcast goes live every Sunday to talk about movie reviews and comic book stuff and news and all sorts of things. It's kind of a catch-all for everything we do here. This past week, we talked about the Super Mario Bros. And how that was very disappointing. And yeah, I didn't like it. But did you like it? Did you see it?
I have not seen it. I just watched Fast and Furious '9. That's how far.
Oh, you just watched F9?
Yes.
We reviewed that years ago.
Yes, you did.
But anyway, the Super Mario Bros. Conversation is there. That's up there now. You can check that out. Please do. And coming up this week is Renfield. We're going to be talking about the new Renfield movie. So that'd be fun. And that's, of course, all the shows you can check out. Again, like this video, subscribe to this channel. If you're listening to this in audio, consider subscribing, consider rating and reviewing. You can check out our TeePublic or our Patreon. If you'd like to support us financially, please do. It'd be a big help. You can also check out our website at fakenerdpodcast.com, Fake Nerd Podcast on all the social medias. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me writing at cbr.com. atomicgeekdom.com and kaijurammedia.com, which you can find on all my socials. Cookie, one last time, where can people find you?
Just a Little Podcast on Instagram, Just Podcasting on Twitter.
All right, guys, until next time you see us, live long and prosper.
Woohoo!